I want to thank Senator from Montana, Senator Tester, for his remarks, but I want to thank him more so for his hard work over the last 2 years with me as our ranking member, I as chairman, to try and bring us to a point where we are today. And John and I are very excited. We're excited because we know that Robert Wilkie is the real deal. We know the things that we've gone through with some of the previous appointees and some of the problems at the VA now have a chance to be overridden and solved, and we'll step forward on a new day for the VA. We no longer want somebody who's going to make excuses for the VA. We want somebody who's going to make a difference at the VA. Robert Wilkie will make a difference. He understands the needs of our veterans in rural areas. He understands the need in large urban cities. He understands the threat of suicide and the need to get our mental health accessible and available to our veterans at all times. He knows all the things that we need to do. He also knows that we've given him a quiver of arrows that he can use as he hunts through the VA to root out the bad players and lift the big players. The Mission Act, the VA Mission Act, as John Tester just mentioned, is absolutely rule number one. The implementation of that change gives our veterans the choice, our rural veterans the access, our urban veterans the accountability, and the VA the chance to maximize the delivery of health care services to our veterans at a cost that over time will be less than if the VA did it all by itself. The VA is a tremendous organization. It is the state of the art in many things. Ophthalmology, for example. A lot of the signature wounds of the war that we have today, PTSD and TBI, all those, our VA does a phenomenal job with all those. But there are lots of healthcare services that are routine that veterans shouldn't have to wait 3, 4, and 5 months for. They ought to be able to get it at a reasonably accessible period of time. They ought to get it closest to home where they are. They need to get it from somebody who can deliver the service to them when they need it. And the Mission Act lets that happen. Now, I'm going to say a few things tonight in my remarks. There are going to be early warnings. There are going to be some early warnings on the VA Mission Act that, well, it's costing a lot of money because they're going to see some requests come in for money. Yeah, it's going to take us a little while to get over the bubble of the initial implementation, but when we do, we're going to minimize the cost of greater service to the veterans and over time reduce the cost per capita to our veterans. Every time we don't require the VA to build another hospital or another clinic, it's time we're lowering the cost of our real estate and uplifting the opportunity for us to spend more money on services. Every time we have a doc in a hospital who's treating somebody who's a veteran because they want to participate in the Mission Act and the Veterans Choice Bill, they don't have to add all the other costs of infrastructure around and working for the VA to them, then our veteran gets better choice, better service, better medical care, and better time. This is an opportunity to do the change of a lifetime. We're going to make the VA something it's always wanted to be and give the veterans something they've always thought they had. The best possible care at the most affordable price to the taxpayer and deliver a difference for our veterans and for the families. I'm proud of what the committee did 2 weeks ago when we passed the Mission Act. We brought about caregivers legislation for those family members who take care of loved ones from the Vietnam War era. We're going to have bills coming up on Blue Water Navy and other things like that in the year ahead. We got a lot of things we're going to do. But I want us to stop here and now dragging out old stories about the VA and talking about what the VA isn't, but instead talk about what it is. And I want to give you a specific example. The press needs to stop getting a 3, 4, or 5-year IG's report and reporting as it is today's news. John and I have spent more time responding to reports about by the IG or someone else, and I'm just picking on the IG, about failures of the VA, when in fact we turned out that's a study from 2006. We finally got the report, so they make a big deal out of it as yesterday. Most of the Veterans Administration's major sources, most, I didn't say all and it never will be all, are being met and addressed faster than ever before. Most of the stories that come out in the future from 10 years ago are going to be much better than the ones that are coming out today. But we've got to report the good news as well as the tough news. I'll stand there and respond to the tough news all day long, but I hate it when I have to call my own press conference to talk about what's really going on at the VA, which is really good. It's absolutely essential that we be a partnership of the media, the VA itself, the VA's employees and its service providers, ourselves in the Congress, our roles as committee chair and leadership, all of us to join in and put our arms together and move forward to have a stronger, more productive, more responsible VA. I mentioned the mission bill. Accountability. We've finally given the VA the ability to hold their employees accountable, which we've needed to for a long, long time, and it's making a difference. We've given, the Whistleblower Act has given whistleblowers the chance to make reports of things that they see, know, and do that are difficult and should be corrected with some degree of reasonable protection and not to be run over instead. That's something that's important to do. We've talked about accountability. We've talked about all kinds of things. We talked about one last thing, and that is rural America. Serving with John, I've gained a greater impression than I had before of the problems that rural America faces. Georgia has a large rural population, but quite frankly, Georgia's a big state. Atlanta's a big city. When you go outside Atlanta, you still got Savannah and Augusta and a lot of places that are much bigger than the biggest city in Montana. And we owe those veterans who, because of where they live, are more distant from the services we provide, the opportunity to get them faster and quicker, and we're going to do that with the Mission Act. And I appreciate John's leadership in doing that. It's made a real difference. What I've tried to do with the hotlines on mental health, where veterans can call in if they're in danger for their life or in danger for worried about taking their life or need help and counseling then and now. They're no longer getting hung up on. They're no longer getting referred to another operator. They're no longer getting called back tomorrow on a voicemail. They're getting action right in here and right now today. We owe it to our veterans who are at risk for their life today, the same thing they do every day when they service in uniform, when they're at risk for their life every day overseas. We have the chance to do a wonderful thing, and that's keep our promise. We have the chance to deliver quality health care to our veterans and deliver a better response for our veterans than they've ever had before. And we have the chance to fix the problems that we've had and get them better and work to the future to new solutions for other problems that will come to face us. We owe our veterans no less than the best secretary in Robert Wilkie, and we have him in Robert Wilkie. I told Robert, I said, Robert, you have no excuses. I've heard all the excuses I ever want to hear again about this. We know what we've got to do, we know when we need to do it, and it's now, and we've got to know how we got to do it, and it's with you as the Secretary of the VA. So I commend him to my fellow members of the United States Senate. I want to thank Chairman Rowe from the House and the hard work that they've done on bringing this together with John and I to see to it we have a great secretary. We're going to lock arms and walk lockstep next year to make the VA perform even better than it has before. We are here to make sure the VA has no excuses, only results. They get the backing they need from us. And those veterans who've served us get the health care they need. And the veterans who join us today to defend us in the future know it'll be there when they retire. So I urge you to vote for Secretary Wilkie, Robert Wilkie, for Secretary of the VA, as our 10th most recent veterans VA appointee, if that's right, and give him a unanimous vote today, which is the kind of support he needs to move forward in the 21st century. God bless all of you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your vote. Thanks to Senator Tester for his support as ranking member. Thank you to the senator from Kansas for his support throughout the year. And I yield back the balance of my time.